Good morning, everyone. My name is Aditi. My teammates are Abhishek, Harsh, and Jagjit, and we are working under the guidance of Professor Pushkar Sate. Our project title is Disease Assistant, and for this presentation, we'll quickly explain the problem and the proposed solution before jumping on to the progress. Next slide. So the problem we are trying to solve has three major roots. The first being the human negligence. We often tend to ignore simple safety measures like social distancing and wearing a mask. Other than this, people ignore sanitary measures like using sanitizer and and an unhealthy amount of human contact. Considering any highly infectious disease, this is very detrimental. Moving on to the proposed system, Abhishek shall continue.
For the proposed problem, we have two module system, one of them being a passive approach. Since not all interactions call for an action, sometimes we just need to ensure that there is safety. This model consists of a camera and multiple algorithms that calculates a risk factor. The risk factor is calculated on basis of various risk parameters. If the risk factor is high for any particular person, the active module starts working and suggests solutions and precautions. It also helps in appointing for doctor appointments. Along with this, the model also consists of an interactive chatbot that makes the user interface easy. I would like Harsh to continue.
Yeah, now you
Okay.
directly jump on the what is done after the previous presentation.
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm giving the demo now. So this and the literature survey was done by us last time. So I'll continue with the progress. Just so that we don't have to wait, I'll run the kernel just for all at once.
You are showing output.
Yes, sir.
First, tell everyone that what exactly you're running. I mean, for
Yes,
what
sir.
you are showing output.
I'll explain all the parts. Okay, so as we mentioned in the passive model, we have one that checks for hygiene in public places using two separate models. To start, we picked up Haar cascading for face detection. This is an effective object detection model which was proposed by Paul Voila and Michael Jones in their paper Rapid Object Detection Using a Boosted Cascade of Simple Features in 2001. We had mentioned this in our literature survey. It's a machine learning based approach where a cascade function is trained on a lot of positive and negative images already. It is then used to detect objects in other images. We'll be using a Haar cascade model trained to detect faces in order to obtain the bounding boxes. These bounding boxes are some of the most difficult things that we encountered, so we preferred using a previously made model which was made by Michael Jones in 2001. We'll be using the Haar cascade model for this. So as we can see, the Haar cascade model works perfectly on the bounding boxes, and the image quality that we've picked is from an actual CCTV that was used in China a few years ago. So we load the Haar cascade model and use it on a sample image and create the bounding boxes. Now for the social distancing violation, we use very simple Euclidean distance in the image to check social distancing. Provided this is not the most efficient way that we found, but and we are still working on the bird's eye view to create the same system in a whole room. But in certain situations, for example, when there's a queue for collecting tickets, this approach works perfectly. And as we can see here, the red bounding boxes mean that social distancing has been violated, but the green box says that there's enough distance for the person or the other person to be safe. Next comes the face mask detection. As mentioned in the last presentation.
Yet to be implemented, you said ना Euclidean distance निकाल के आपका करना बाकी है ना?
Sir, this is for the current image, like the bounding boxes that we used, using the size of the bounding box as well as the distance between them, we calculated on a basic model. For example, if we have let's say a side angle image of people in a queue, at that point this model will work better than a bird's eye view.
Okay.
So it depends a lot on the scenario which we're using it. So finally comes the mask detection.
Is there any other option?
Yes, ma'am, there is, and we are working on it. It's the bird's eye view, where let's say the camera will be placed on the top corner of the room, and we can see the people as small circles on the bird's eye view. And in that case, the distance can be calculated in a plane, but in case of a straight line, it will be less accurate. In that case, this one will be much more feasible. I'll continue.
But Harsh, whatever the data set is consisting of whatever type of images, you
Yes,
need
sir.
to apply the similar image while judging it, right?
So this is a queue, but it's from a little bit of a side angle. I couldn't find that kind of a queue
I
with a face.
mean, if you are training the data set based on one particular view, directly you cannot directly apply bird eye view for the testing purpose.
Sir, bird's eye will be a completely different model. That won't require any training. That is directly from the top. That will be a pre-trained model. It can be detect people from the bird's eye view. Then we'll convert it into a 2D plane. That's the work currently going on.
Okay.
We haven't done that.
Okay, understood.
So for the face mask detection, as mentioned in our last presentation, we use transfer learning on the MobileNet version 2. Since it works best in the feature extraction scenario we are working on, we took 10,000 images for training and 800 for validation as well as testing. 800 each for validation as well as testing. We removed the bottom few layers of the model and created it into a shape of 128, 128, 3, and then added 2 output neurons and then added 2 output layers, a flatten and a dense layer. The dense layer obviously has 2 outputs stating if there is a mask or there is not a mask. For now, we've used pretty simple hyperparameters. As you can see, the sigmoid, atom. For the loss, we've gone with categorical cross entropy, which are very simple layers, and then we start training the model. It starts off with a very high accuracy of 91, and it bounces around between 98 and 95, which ensures that it doesn't overfit at any point.
Just a minute, Harsh.
Yes.
Jagjit, can you explain what is transfer learning?
Yes, sir. So basically, transfer learning is we have pre-trained a model. We remove the bottom layers. We remove the bottom layers of an already existing model and add new layers to it,
Okay.
which are required for our purpose.
Yes. What is the advantage of transfer learning?
Yes, sir. So we get a better model which is of our use. मतलब अगर किसी को पहले से किसी ने मॉडल ट्रेन किया हुआ है, we cannot train a robust model which is already existing. So on a simple home PC.
Okay. Advantage पे थोड़ा आपको काम करना पड़ेगा. Some convincing points. Okay. You are basically training some model based on few images, and whatever final weights, better weights are obtained, that you are stealing as good as. You are stealing those values of weights and you are putting it in your model.
Basically, what we do is we can't train a big model on our home PC. Like we don't have that kind of PCs. So what we do is we take a pre-trained model which is already working well, and we just remove the sum of the layers, the sum of bottom layers, and add our own layers, which can work for
our convenience. Yeah, as per our convenience, we change last few layers, right?
Last few layers, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Harsh, continue.
Okay, I'll continue. So next, then we save the model for our future use, and then we integrate the HAR cascade that we had done in the previous step along with our mask model. Okay.
So are you here again giving the few images with mask and few images without mask and training your network accordingly?
Yes, sir. For this model, I have a proper 10,000 images ka data set which I have shown here. The HAR cascade we already have. So the only training that we've actually done is on the mask model.
ये mask वाला data मिला कहाँ से? Few images with mask and few images without mask.
Kaggle, sir. Kaggle has a 12,000 images data set. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So
it's as good as a normal classification algorithm, right? That you are training with few mask and few without mask images, and your model is getting trained to detect whether new image has mask applied or not.
Yes. Precisely, yes. Okay. So the red boxes indicate that the social distancing is being violated, as well as green means safe, and mask or no mask is written. This is what we've gone for temporarily. In the next step, we'll be taking values from this and working on our risk calculation parameters. So at this point, if your risk is high, that point you get to interact with the chatbot, which also we have worked on. This also I'll run. Please note that we are working on Flask platform, Flask framework, which means all Python code can be easily run directly. So run all. 1 second.
Explain to the panel what is role of chatbot in our project.
Okay. So after this, the risk factor that I mentioned is being high. So let's say for a particular person, the risk factor is very high. What does he do next? If every person that has a very high risk factor is made to go to a doctor, at that point, the medical pressure that this system will create will be very high. So how about automating this? Simply we automate this function where the chatbot will suggest remedies for simple, let's say maybe a simple medicine that can be that the doctors can perform, as well as collecting the documents already, so that the doctors can be pre-ready for all this and they don't have to wait for everything. So basically clearing out the queue system that currently exists. So I'll quickly show how the chatbot works.
So you just need to tell your current points to the chatbot, and chatbot will answer you how much risk factor is, right?
Yes, risk. He suggests the risk factor doesn't matter to the user. I don't need to know how much risk I'm at. I need to know what I need to do. So the chatbot suggests if I need to go to the doctor or should I just stay home and work on maybe medicines and basic remedies. That's what.
And where these chatbots are to be used?
So after risk factor is calculated, the chatbot is automatically given to the user. It's sent on a mail, or the user is told to interact with us.
Where are to be used is? I mean, they are to be used at public place or what?
So the whole system is designed for public places because that is where most of the unhealthy interactions can occur.
Okay.
So again, this chatbot works very simply. If I say, hi, my name is Harsh, it can answer me everything. Now, if we get to the point, let's say I ask him, please help me, as it is asked. So it recognizes keywords and it needs documents. So what all do you want? I want all your reports and your user ID. This user ID will be defining to each user in our previous system so that there's no mixing up. I can tell you the best course of action. Let's say, am I in good health? Again, these are the parameters that we haven't programmed in yet. So it works in good health or bad health. Checking your details, I can see that you're keeping safe. Am I in bad health? Yes. Checking your details, I've seen that you've been in risk infected areas. This is what the bot will say in case the person has had many unhealthy interactions. And it says,
right now, based on what it is giving answers?
Right now, just based on the question I put in, sir. If I said in good health, it said me good, and if I said bad, it told me bad.
अच्छा, अभी के लिए सिर्फ इतना है कि जैसा आप पूछ रहे हो वैसे वो आंसर दे रहा है.
हाँ sir, we haven't created the interaction. That's remaining.
Okay.
So it says I'm in bad health. Please tell me doctors near me. Again, this is also hard coded. So I said 3 doctors with slot open, 3 doctor names that are randomly put in. Now let's say if I want to book a slot, it asks me for my email ID. I'll say Harsh at SIS maybe. Again, now it asks me to go to the actual assistant.
Right now everything is just like for this question, this answer should be given. As simple as that.
Yes sir, in a way it does interact. Like it picks up keywords.
Fix किया है. अभी ये question के लिए answer fix देना है फिलहाल के लिए.
Yes, it's pretty hard coded right now because we don't need to use machine learning here because all we need to do is collect documents and create a booking system. I don't think we need machine learning here.
In next phase, you are supposed to do it in that way, no? That proper data analyze okay, उसका corresponding answer chatbot देगा.
हाँ sir, वो होगा. But in the actual conversation I'm talking, in the conversation we can hard code it simply.
Yeah, these questions can be anyway have same answers. No, what are the how many doctors are there in the locality and where are they and who are they? That answers can be fixed anyway.
Exactly, that's the only questions we've done. The hard coding part is remaining, the soft coding part is remaining. Okay, so now it asks me to book an appointment. So even the appointment that we've done, let's say, and I've created that on Flask. This system will be integrated with Flask so that we can start running it. So okay, this is zoomed in. I'm very sorry. Yeah. So this is our disease assistant system. It says the doctor's name and it says the slots which they have and which are empty and which have been booked. So this is not just a front end. This has been completely programmed with a database. This you can see is the current temporary database. If let's say I change one of the nils to Jagjit's name, I change the day 1 10:30 to Jagjit and save it. Now when the system is refreshed, Flask run. If I refresh it, this slot is now booked by Jagjit. I did use a common database there, but it's working. Also here all we need to do is click on book now and then create a form so that the user can put in his details and book the slot with a name and basic details. Also, all this code is available on GitHub. We've already made it. These are the 3 systems, and yes, that's it. That's all the progress that we've made.